It's a warm welcome back to the CEO of the Crusaders. Colin, thanks for joining us, mate.
G'day, Marty. Thanks for having me.
So why was it you that apologised to the reporter on Rob's behalf? Why didn't he do it?
Well, basically, when we connected yesterday afternoon, Rob was contrite, came to see me, explain what happened, made an apology. I know the report. I've had a wee bit to do with the reporter, and I had his phone number, so I just picked up the phone and made the call. So there was nothing. Nothing other than that in it.
Yeah, but why wouldn't he just want to do it himself, though?
Well, actually, probably the key thing was he was contrite. He spoke to me. I basically made the offer. I think if I actually said to him, Rob, you ring him now, he would have done it, but I did it. So yeah, no, there's nothing.
What was the reporter's reaction to your call?
Appreciative of the call, I think. Yeah, appreciative of the call, yeah.
And do you think that this story is an absolute beat-up, or do you think that it deserves to be a story?
I think pressure. You know what it's like, Marty, in high-performance sport. Pressure is a privilege, and I know it's a trite statement to make, but when you've been where we've been and when you are where we are, you just expect scrutiny, and you should expect scrutiny. There's no doubt about that. So I don't think there was. If we've taken the comment away, the final comment away, I think we would describe the interview as robust. It probably wasn't in line with the purpose of the connection, which was around, team naming and discussing the upcoming fixture. But it was robust, and we're up for that. So yeah, I think we talked about it before, that we would anything we're going to do it's not going to be knee jerk. It's not going to be scapegoating, and it's going to be a look at the whole system. It'll be a full review of the team, the organisation, and the whole system we operate in. It'll be high performance focused rather than political or pressure focused, and it will examine every part of the organisation and every part of our processes. Because the easy thing would be to find a scapegoat, make a rash decision, and appease some loud noise. That's probably not going to fix other things that would be in our system that need to be fixed.
Do you think that the questions were out of order?
I think some of the questions could have been directed at me. I think it's an interesting question you've asked me, Marty, and it's hard to answer really succinctly. I think some of them went on, so by the time we've had 4 or 5 questions, frankly, we probably should have stepped in and said, mate, I think you've got what you want. Can we talk about the Blues game? An amazing, fixture where the tension is already more than we need for that fixture. We are so excited by the Blues being here. Home game. We've got our Hall of Fame function Friday afternoon. So there's a lot at stake here just on the game. And I think the information had been gathered reasonably early. So I thought it's a little bit relentless. But is that out of order? I don't know. I'm not sure we should be in a position to answer those questions.
Do you think, though, that it's your place to direct what questions are going to be asked, or is that not your role at all? And the role of your employees is just simply to answer those questions in the best way that they possibly can?
I think in a situation like that, we've said, do you want to come in and meet the coach and have a conversation about naming of the team for the week and discussing the upcoming fixture against the Blues? That's absolutely the purpose of that stand-up. Now, invariably, it doesn't go exactly to script, so to speak. So I think this is again where was Rob as well supported? I mean, I feel personally that I probably could have done a little bit more in terms of support before he attended that conference, with the gift of hindsight. Do we direct all the messaging? I don't think that's appropriate. I think,
He must have known these questions were coming. That's what I'm getting at, Colin. I mean, it's not like, look, you know the way the media works these days. It's all about clickbait. The guy that asked the questions, you could tell that he had them written on his phone. Like either he's thought of that or his editor's thought of that. So these are the questions, and he's just asking them one after the other. So, normally what happens in these things is, and I've been at a million of these things where somebody will step in and say, okay, you've got the answer to that question, move on from that. But Rob must have known that these questions were coming because they've been fired at him just about every single weekend.
Yeah, but they've probably been more than... You're right, Marty. They have been fired at him every weekend. And he was prepared for questions about other topics. There's plenty of topics about rugby in the media at the moment, and he was prepared for some of those. He was prepared to a point for these questions. He was prepared for a point. I think the questioning was reasonably relentless, and you're right. We could have, as an organisation, we could have jumped in and said, "Hey mate, thanks. I think you've got the answers you want. Can we come back to the topic of the Blues fixture and the game this weekend and the naming the team that's been named?" Yeah, we could have done that.
Do you think that he was doing his job, or was he being unprofessional in your eyes, the reporter?
The reporter. I think the reporter. Sport isn't his. Some of the questions were looking to generate. Not looking to generate insight into how the team was preparing.
No, not at all. No, these are just clickbait. The answers are clickbait so that then whatever news organisation he works for can put it on their website as a big banner headline about Rob Penney and his job being under threat. I mean, that's obvious to everyone watching that. But is that behaviour unprofessional from the journalist, or is he just doing his job?
Oh, Marty, you're asking the wrong person that. You are much better qualified to answer that. And I know that's a typical one where you'd say, well, it's not, I think one of the questions that was asked yesterday, and Rob turned around and gave a response, and the reporter said something along the lines of, well, I'm not a coach, can you give me some insight into that? I would say, in response to that question you've just asked, I'm not a journalist, and I think the best people to comment on journalism is journalists. Whenever I've made a comment, I've got myself in trouble. So mate, I actually think you're better at making that judgment than me. Genuinely, I believe that.